book lovers, it's Jenny at Julia Baby Jen with a November book haul. I have a ton of books, and I have some more that are still coming in the mail, but I decided I'm just going to go ahead and do a video really quick, and then next month I'll do one. Probably won't be as big, but yeah, I don't know how I end up with so many books. Well, duh, I buy them, but it's, yeah, I don't really know. Okay, moving on. So first off, I'm just going to speed through this really fast. So first off, I got Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This came in my Owl Crate box that I just got today, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a special edition cover that you only get with Owl Crate. So it's my very first box. I think it was well worth buying just for this gorgeous cover. I love it. I'm so excited to read Heartless. I'm a big Alice in Wonderland fan, and I love Marissa Meyer. So I'm really looking forward to this book. And before I had ordered an Owl Crate subscription, I actually pre-ordered Heartless probably close to a year ago. I pre-ordered this as soon as I saw Marissa Meyer had a new book out. It didn't even have a cover. I'm not even sure if it had a title when I pre-ordered it. Well, yeah, it had to have a title for me to pre-order it, I think. But I didn't even know what it was about. I just saw it was Marissa Meyer, and I pre-ordered the book. So I have 2 copies of Heartless, but one is a special edition and one's the original. I think that's fine. I'm just going to keep them both because I just think it's awesome. So yeah, I don't mind having multiple edition of books I love, and hopefully I love this book. I also got A Million Worlds with You by Claudia Gray. It is the final book in the Firebird trilogy. This is sort of a alternate reality time travel kind of story, and I love this story. It's so fun, and the covers are beautiful. So I'm excited to read the conclusion to this story, or to this trilogy. I got Perfect Couple by Jennifer Nichols. I actually got this used on Amazon because I found the 3rd book somewhere and I needed to read the 2nd book in the trilogy, so I got Perfect Couple. This is the Superlatives trilogy. It's sort of a contemporary, YA contemporary. The whole premise is in this high school senior class, they do the, people vote on couples and who would be the most, you know, they pick a guy and a girl. The first one is who are the biggest flirts. And so the first book follows those 2 in their story. And in all of these 3 books, the 2 people that are together aren't really friendly in any way. So this is kind of about their story. So this is another one that they voted for in the class, and this was the perfect couple. So yeah, so it's kind of a fun concept. It's just very fun. I got Gemina, yay, by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. So I've actually already read this. I got a hold of an ARC. A friend of mine lent it to me, but I'm so happy to find the final book because in the ARC, a lot of the artwork wasn't finished, and so now I get to actually see the artwork. Like here's some artwork right here that wasn't in, you know, they just say cover art not final, and they just kind of typed out what was the picture, so you know what it was. But yeah, like all this stuff, none of this stuff was final in the ARC. So I'm excited to read this again and discover all that gorgeous artwork. I just love this series. This is a sci-fi trilogy. The books are huge, but they're very quick because of the format. It's basically a story that's told after the events have happened and it's under investigation. So this is all encrypted emails and files and stuff, like evidence basically that they're looking at. It's about a corrupt company that is basically screwing with everybody and trying to kill a whole bunch of people for damage control, for something that they did wrong. And I think it's really relevant to today's society because this kind of stuff is happening all the time that we're not even aware of a lot of the time. Not obviously, I don't think as big as the events in these stories. I mean, these are sci-fi fantastic stories. Lots of stuff is happening besides the corrupt company. There's like in this one, there's some aliens that get aboard the ship that are these killer worm things. So there's that to deal with. There's all kinds of issues. So the first book follows a couple who are trying to basically save the ship and all these people on it. and this is the kind of a sequel and also a companion because it's the events after that, but it's two different people we're following. Although the original characters in the first book, Illuminae, do make appearances in here, so it starts out as its own story and it kind of connects to the other story as the book goes along. And then the third one at the end of this is going to be all of them, from what I can tell at the end of this one, all of them trying to save their butts. So it's just really fantastic story. I love these. I've got Star Chaser, which is a Todd Hunter Moon book, book 3 by Angie Sage. I haven't read these yet, and I didn't even know they were out. I knew she was writing a companion series to the Septimus Heap series, which I adore. These are just fun MG fantasy. Oh, they're just so much fun. So this is the third book, and it just came out, so I pre-ordered it. So I did receive it. I've got to get the first and second book now so I can read it. I got both House of Hades and The Blood of Olympus by Rick Riordan used on Amazon so I can finish the Heroes of Olympus series. This is Percy Jackson Greek mythology, fun MG books, action adventure, just tons of fun. And I got Replica by Lauren Oliver. This one, actually, I picked this up at Target, and it is a signed first edition. Sometimes Target has those, and it's really fun to look through Target because you might find a signed book. So there is the signature. So I've got a signed Lauren Oliver book now. I'm excited to read this. I will be reading it pretty soon, I think. And I really don't know what this is about other than it's sci-fi. That's all I know. And then it's two stories by two different girls. So this side, if you read from this way, is Gemma. And this side is Lyra. And you can read it any way you want to. It doesn't matter which ones you read first. So it's an interesting concept, and I'm excited to read it. Then my good friend and author, Raisa Walker, sent me her latest book, The Delphi Effect. She sent me a signed copy because I am on her straight team, and I beta read her books, and yeah, so this is her thank you. She said, "To Jenny, thanks for your feedback and general awesomeness. You rock." Raisa Walker. So that's that. This is a paranormal conspiracy sci-fi kind of story. So it's about this girl who I guess talk to ghosts, can see ghosts, and she catches on to ghosts by latching on. If she touches something that they're attached to, they attach to her, and they won't leave her alone until she solves whatever their problem is. This one is about, she has a girl that catches on to her, and she was murdered, and she wants her to help the murdered girl's grandfather find the killer. And it kind of goes off on a totally different right after that. There's government conspiracies and all kinds of things going on in this. It's a really great book. I love it. It's the first in a trilogy, and it's called the Delphi Trilogy. I am really excited. I'm going to be reading this hopefully soon because it's been a while since I beta read it, and I loved it, and I want to read the final edition. So very fun. All right, I've got a whole bunch more books yet, and I'm going to go through these pretty fast. These I found all on Book Outlet. They were two different shipments, and I cannot believe how many cool books I found on Book Outlet. Just awesome. So first I have Trial by Fire by Josephine Angelini. I actually just finished this trilogy not long ago. This is the paperback, the second edition, cover edition. They had an original cover before this. I like this one much better. And it's just kind of a floppy paperback, and those are kind of fun. So yeah, I picked this up for my shelves. This is an alternate reality or alternate universe witch story, and it's really fun. I picked up Blue Noon, which is a Midnighter's book by Scott Westerfeld. I don't remember what one this is in the series. I haven't read these yet, and I think I have the first one somewhere, but this may be the first one. I don't remember, but I have another one somewhere, and I want to read these at some point. I picked up Snow Treasure by Marie McSwiggan. This is actually a children's book. One that we read when I was, I don't know, in 4th or 5th grade, I think, and I loved it. A lot of people are familiar, aren't, only probably if you read it maybe in school. It's supposed to be based on true events, but no one's ever been able to find proof that it's actually happened, but a lot of people do believe that it did happen. Basically, it's a World War II story about in Norway, and it is, they were trying to come up with a way. They were under Nazi occupation, and they're trying to find a way to sneak out the gold treasury of the country without the Nazis finding it. And they ended up using children doing it. They would sled it off, they sled the gold outside of the Nazi territory to ships waiting in the harbor. I believe that's what it, I can't remember very well. It's been a really long time since I read this, but I do remember that basically children saved, I don't remember how much money it was, millions of dollars in gold from the Nazis. So supposedly it is a true story, although now they can't find proof of it because they, the events in here, they changed everything when they wrote the book because they didn't want this village or whatever to get a whole bunch of attention. They want to keep everything anonymous, I guess. So, but I found this on Book Outlet really cheap, and I thought, oh, it'd be fun to have that, and I kind of like to reread it again and remember this. So I just love World War II stories, and this one I just fascinated me when I was a kid. Then I have Most Likely to Succeed, which is the third and final book in the Superlatives trilogy. I showed you the second one earlier. So this is the couple that were picked as the most likely to succeed in the yearbook, and this is the third one. I found it on Book Outlet. That's why I bought the second one, so I could finish this trilogy. Jubilee Manor by Bethany Hagen. This is the sequel to Landry Park. I think this is kind of like a Downton Abbey type story. I haven't read the first one, but I've been wanting to, and then I saw this on Book Outlet, so I went ahead and got it. And then I have Otherworld by Claudia Gable and Cheryl Clam. This is the sequel to Illusion, which I do have but haven't read yet. And I don't know too much about it, but I just love these covers. Beautiful. Sword and Verse by Kathy McMillan. This is a fantasy. That's about all I know about it, but it looks really cool. Reawakened by Colleen Hook. I have read this and I loved it. It's Egyptian. It's kind of an Egyptian mythology come to life story, and it's really fun. I really enjoyed it quite a bit, and the cover is just gorgeous. I can't wait to read the sequel. It'll be so cool. Oh, I just noticed my hand. I haven't washed that off yet. It's from last night. I was in a arcade bar thing, and they stamp you at the door if you're legal to drink. So that's what that is. And then I got Spirit and Thieves by Morgan Rhodes. This is a companion, or I don't know, yeah, a companion series to Falling Kingdoms, which I haven't read yet, but I really want to. And they had it on Book Outlet, so I went ahead and grabbed it. I just love these covers, so gorgeous. And then I also got Gathering Darkness by Morgan Rhodes, which is the third book in the Falling Kingdoms series. I own the first two, so now I have the third. One of these days, I will sit down and read these books. I think there's going to be 6 in the series, and I think there's 4 out right now, I think. I got The Bane Chronicles by Cassandra Clare and Sarah Reese Brennan and Maureen Johnson. So this is a, I've read this already, but I loved it, and I didn't own it yet, and I wanted to. It's a bind-up of novellas, and they're all stories of Magnus Bane. So you get to learn more about Magnus Bane, and I loved these stories. They were so much fun. I will be rereading this, hopefully, at some point soon. Obsidian Mirror by Catherine Fisher. I found the second book to this at the Dollar Tree, and I've been looking for the first one, and I found it on Book Outlet, so now I can read these. The Creeping by Alexandra Sirowy. This is just a creepy looking book. It was really inexpensive on Book Outlet, so I went ahead and got it. We're past Halloween now, but I may read it anyway, or I might read it next year and save it for next year to read. Across the Universe by Beth Revis. I love this trilogy a lot. This one wasn't my favorite of the trilogy. I think it gets better as you go through, but I didn't own this one yet. I do have the second and third books are right there, and this is the new cover edition. So they released, like, I think there's 3 different covers to these in the US editions. So the first and second book, or the first book they released 1 cover, and then they redid it again for the second book. And then the third book they came out with Shades of Earth, which actually I like these covers best of the three, but the only bummer is that A Million Suns and Across the Universe you can only get in paperback, so they're not all hardback. Maybe at some point I can get Shades of Earth in a paperback if they released it like this. I'm hoping they did, and then they can all match. But anyway, I found the first one on Book Outlet, and it kind of was like, ooh, that's going to make me want to reread the whole trilogy again, which I'll probably do next year sometime. Found Flirting in Italian by Lauren Henderson. I found the second book in order on Book Outlet thinking it was the first in the series, and actually it wasn't, and so then I found the first one. This was 99 cents, so well worth getting. So these will be fun contemporaries to read. I got The Heart of Betrayal by Mary E. Pearson. I actually checked this out from the library and started it and haven't finished it. And then I found it on Book Outlet, and I really wanted to own this trilogy, so I went ahead and bought it, and I returned my library book. So I'll be reading it with my hardback now, but I was very excited that I found this on Book Outlet. And finally, I got Silver Shadows by Rochelle Mead. This is the 5th book in the Bloodline series. I read the first 2. And I got them in paperback really inexpensively. I've already donated to my library or given them away, and because I wasn't planning on keeping the set at all. And I was going to get the other ones from my library because they had them, but they disappeared. I put them on hold, and my library contacted me and said, we can't find these books 3 through 5. We don't know what happened to them. They disappeared out of their library, so someone must have taken them, and that's really sad. So they don't have them anymore. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to find these books now because I want to finish this series. Well, they had Silver Shadows on Book Outlet in a hardback. I'm like, it was pretty expensive. It was $5, I think. I'm like, okay, I'll just get it. At some point I'll find the other ones. And then it arrived, and it's a signed copy, and it didn't say that on the website. So I ended up with a signed copy. And now I'm kind of mad that I got rid of the other 2 because I'm like, oh, well, if I have a signed copy, I might want to just have the whole set. But that's all right. So there's the signature by Rochelle Mead. So yeah, that was a fun surprise. It was fun to get a signed copy that I wasn't expecting. And that is my November book haul. Quite a few books. I don't even know how many this was. I didn't count. Leave me any comments below what you've got so far this month, your latest book purchases. If you read any of these, what you think. I'd love to know. I hope everyone has a good day. I will talk to you later. Bye.